when it comes to your personal relationships, how often are you the adult in the room, would you say?
I think I struggle with it. I struggle with it a lot with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I get very emotional with her.
Okay.
And it's something that I will continue to work on. I think I've grown recently with it. But it's always something that I kind of need, like, I need that Post-it note on the mirror saying, like, don't let the emotions get the best of you, you know? When it comes to relationships with, you know, significant others, I feel like I do a decent job with that. I feel like I communicate pretty well, and I let, you know, him know what I want and what I'm looking for and what I need. So.
Okay. What about friendships? Like, not just now, but like through the course of your life.
I think when I was younger, I had a lot of friends, again, based on that kind of, whatever you say, agreeable personality. And again, as I've grown and had my son, I've seen the people in my life that weren't really my true friends, who I thought they were. They kind of fell by the wayside when things got tough.
Okay.
So I have few friends, and I am completely dedicated to them. But I don't need a lot of friends. I think I think it would be great to have a lot, but not too many people have stepped up to do that.
Okay, definitely. So like we heard you mention that, you know, through the course you've been very passive through the course of life. You've been passive and agreeable and things of that nature. And did you believe honestly that was the best way to be, or what caused you to be that way?
I think that's just how I was raised. You know, I was brought up to be a good little girl, Catholic. You do what you're told. Get good grades in school, and you sit quietly and raise your hand when you want to answer a question. And that's just, I guess that's kind of what I grew up with. And I learned the hard way that you can't go through life like that. At least I can't. I can't go through life like that and be truly happy. Because,
You can be convicted. Do you believe that people in general should adapt that mentality? The mentality, like speak up, say what they want.
I do. I think there's a way to do it, but you can't just be rude to people. You know, I still think that you need to have some common courtesy.
Yeah, but isn't there like a fine line between being rude and isn't that like subjective? Like if I tell you something that I may not think is rude, I'm just being honest about what's happening. But because it may have struck a chord, or you feel like it's private, like you may think that it's rude. You know what I mean? So isn't that subjective?
I do. I think intention has a lot to play in it. Are you telling me something to embarrass me in front of other people, or are you telling me something that's going to make you a good friend? If I got something on my face and you're going to sit there and stare at me when I got something on my face, you know, that's not being a good friend. You know, you need to help each other out.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, if you're going to be extra about it and start making fun of me and degrade me about it, well, that's a different story. So I think intention has a lot to do with it.
Wouldn't you think reading intentions and going back to what Jerry was saying, we, you know, like obviously we're New Yorkers. We grew up with a bunch of culture around us, a bunch of different cultures, a bunch of different things. And like, I'm from Spanish Harlem, Jerry's from Spanish Harlem. And when most people meet us, when we go out of town, we're considered rude to people because we actually snap on each other for fun, but we really believe it's building character. We actually poke at people's insecurities and poke fun at people's, like they fail, or we make fun of them. But we strongly believe through our culture that it's building character. Like it's teaching them how to really, really be strong when it comes to other people. So like a lot of our friends said, I've been all over the place and it's like nothing now because, you know, we grew up in this kind of culture. We grew up in this kind of system. We grew up in this kind of understanding. Whereas most people would consider it rude.
Yeah.
But are you guys busting each other, or are you busting complete strangers?
No,
we're
it's
busting
people that
each
we
other.
have. It's each other. It's like people we have
Right.
relationships with. But still in all, like I can tell Aziz, like, hey, your breath stinks. And he can think that I'm being rude. You know what I mean? Like, but the reality is he needs to brush his teeth. Like, there's no, when you're being honest about certain things, that there's not a way to sound like, you can change your tone so you can sound nicer or what appears to be nice, but there's no easy way or better way to say it, right? I can say, hey, I could be passive aggressive, say, hey, Aziz, I could start off like, hey, Aziz, did you brush your teeth today? And he's like, no, why? I'm like, oh, because I think I smell something. When I could just say, hey, whether he brushed his teeth or not, your breath is smelling a little tart, you need to go brush your teeth again. Yeah. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and I should be able to say that without him thinking I'm being rude. Same for me. If I look a certain way, if I'm looking rough, he can say, hey, you going out like that? And I'm like, yeah, why? Instead of you cut all of that, I'm like, hey, you look a little rough, where you going? You know what I mean? Like,
right. And I completely agree with you guys when it comes to the people that you care about.
Definitely.
I meant like, you know, somebody up on the street and you have no idea who they are and you walk up and be like, yo, your breath stinks. Like that's a totally different.
Yeah, but I'm saying speaking up for yourself. So we was just talking about your personal relationships and when you have friendships, and you was like, well, I guess I do it, but we was asking you to really be convicted in it. Like,
yeah,
you learn from it as a mistake. So you would teach it to other people. When you see somebody else being passive, you're like, listen, you're going down a slippery slope, because it doesn't end with your happiness. It doesn't end with people having a clear understanding of who you are. You know what I mean? It doesn't end with you being real. Like, you consider yourself being nice, but really you're being fake and phony, because nobody truly knows who you are.
No, and I feel like I used to live for other people's happiness.
Definitely.
And you give, and then there's nothing left of you.
Definitely. So that's what we was really touching on. Like, when you say it's rude, yeah, walking up and invading other people's space is different. But even with perfect strangers, there needs to be a certain direct, like, we come from the school of thought, like, there's nothing stronger than a straight line. There's no more clarity than a straight line. So you should be direct no matter what. But like you said, intention. Are you doing it to hurt a person's feelings? Are you doing it to make fun of the person? Are you doing it to degrade the person or to berate the person, or, you know, things of that nature? I think that's the difference. Are you making fun of their insecurities just to feel better about yourself? That's a whole different understanding, versus you're trying to support them and you're trying to help them. You know, like, I could even tell a story of how I learned how not to touch a blind person in the street. You know, a blind lady was ready to get on the train, and she couldn't get there. She couldn't get to the door. So my first instinct, obviously, is to support her, because the door's ready to close. So I was ready to risk it all. And she cursed me out. And then she told me straight up, you do not touch a blind lady. You have to ask permission first. You have to talk to them first. But my instincts was what? To protect her. So my intentions was up to par, but I got a lesson from it. So now I, know it's just like CPR. You have to ask first. You have to ask permission before you support somebody that's blind. So that would just be an example of how we understand, even through intention, there's still certain protocols you have to follow once you have information and education.
Absolutely. Yeah. But a lot of times you got to learn that the hard way, just like you did. You got cussed out. But you're not going to do that again, though. You learn from that.
I mean, even in the same situation, I might do it again because I thought she was in danger,
Right. Or if you didn't know she was blind or something. Yeah. Definitely. But exactly.
So it is a lesson learned. But at the same time, like, intentions, there's two parts to it. You know what I mean? Intentions and understanding the person's likes and dislikes. You have to know both. Because if you're with somebody that really don't think that you should be nice, like, you should tell them things direct, and it's going to kill who you are as a person, and you might not even be friends with that person. You're still going to respect the fact that they don't want to be told anything directly, but you're going to have to make a decision based on that, because you're going to compromise yourself if you are a direct person. Right. So I think there's two things we always got to take into account: the intentions and, whether the person likes it or doesn't like it.